All right, from our Delhi studio, we are joined in by Deepak Sharma, the editor, Special Investigation Team of TV Today. We are also joined in by Dr. Shambit Patra, member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Mr. O.P. Kataria, petitioner of the Matdata Jagrukta Manch, an NGO which has in fact been working very closely on bogus voting, on issues of bogus voting. We are also joined in by Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy, former Chief Election Commissioner, who joins us from Chennai. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us in this particular discussion. The first word to you, Deepak. Yeah. This actually exposes how easy it is to remove ink, to put ink again and cast bogus votes. Just explain to us that over the next 100 minutes, what are we to expect?
First of all,
this just the tip of the iceberg, by the way?
Sanket, what's most disturbing is that we tried for the first time to go into the underbelly of elections. Most probably are the officials who are conducting the elections, who are making the voter ID cards, who are conducting the voting on the day of polls. Is there a deeper nexus between the candidates and the polling officers? And what we found, the murkier or the darker side, I think it's a revelation where in Delhi and in the NCR region, we found that most of the booth level officers, most of the assistant election returning officers, somehow they were involved. Whether it's ink, whether it's a fake voter ID card, whether it's you have to cast a vote, whether you have to sell a vote, it's an eye-opener.
All right, Dr. Patra, you saw the initial presentation that we have put out here on Headlines Today. What do you make of this? And are you 100% sure that the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders are not actually colluding with these electoral officers in this exercise? Is your party 100% sure?
First and foremost, I would congratulate the Headlines Today for having brought up this kind of sting operation, which shows what is happening behind the closed doors in the democratic India. But then India has a recounting minister also. Then India has a chief of NCP party who says that you wipe off your inks and vote twice. So when such stalwarty figures in the Indian politics have such kind of history and such kind of presentation, what does one expect of the present and what does one expect of the election process? But naturally, I believe I'll buy the statement of Mr. Deepak with a bit of salt and a caution that almost all the returning officers are colluding with the candidates. I believe by and large the electoral process of India has improved a lot. The Election Commission has worked day in and day out to see that the things are fair. And what we are seeing on the screen mostly is as to how bogus voting can be increased by peripheral workers, I believe. And yes, this has been there as a truth. And as far as BJP is concerned, we have been opposed.
Let me correct you. I said some of the officers. I said not everybody.
Yes, I believe some of them. You are absolutely right.
There are many officers which are on the tape which are saying that we don't do this business.
Yes,
they're honest.
Many may be colluding. Many may be colluding, but then it has to be looked. But as far as BJP is concerned, let me remind you of the fact that as far as Delhi elections were concerned last time, BJP went to complain against number of bogus votes that were made by Congress, but many fell to deaf ears.
So your party is aware that something like this happens?
See, everyone is aware that bogus votes are made and we complain. In fact, from single households, there are people who have registered 50, 60, 70 votes.
Let's take, Deepak, let's take this investigation forward and see what really is in store. Mr. Krishnamurthy, Mr. Kataria, before I come across to you, Mr. Krishnamurthy, you have in fact you have held that topmost position of being the Chief Election Commissioner. As a former CEC, do you feel that what we have exposed so far is a fit case for the Chief Election Commissioner to take this matter up?
Well, certainly, if it is, what you have pointed out today is true, it needs to be probed, it needs to be verified. But I have got a few more observations to make. First of all, how are you sure that these people are going to be manning the polling stations? You know, the polling station officials are decided by lot, and they are posted in various polling stations without any previous knowledge. So if you are assuming that there are a few black cats or blue suspect ones, if they are indulging in this, it must be, no, please listen, it must be investigated, it must be verified,
you raised the concern. Our editor, Special Investigations team will answer that query.
In this story, we have caught on camera, we have caught on camera certain BLOs and AROs, booth level officers and assistant election returning officers. Some of them, not all, in Gurgaon, in Ghaziabad, in Noida and in Delhi, who are saying that they will make fake votes without verifying the documents, without verifying the photos, without verifying the person. They're saying that we will make votes for you, and for every vote they are charging 2,000 rupees. That's the prevailing rate in the NCR.
I am not doubting your investigation. Please listen to me. I am not doubting what you have exposed now. We have to verify, first of all, whether these things can really happen. First of all, the ink is manufactured under the directions of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and it is approved by them, and also it is done in a government recognized factory, and so I am surprised that it can be erased. Well, it is likely that these people are fooling the people. We'll have to verify. What I am saying is, while we appreciate your effort to prove the collusion on the part of a few people, it cannot be taken for granted as right. We must verify, we must satisfy ourselves. If this exists, we must take action. There is no doubt about that. But as far as I know, there are enough safeguards. For example, the polling agent sitting in the polling station, he is supposed to look at all these things. When a bogus man comes, if he is going to collude with the polling officials and with the political parties, all the political party agents are going to collude with them, well, God save this country. All that I would say is that there are enough safeguards. There may be some black sheep. You have to take action against them. You may have to examine and thoroughly be satisfied. As far as I know, at least I have not come across such instances.
I was in fact meaning to, Mr. Krishnamurthy, I was in fact meaning to ask you exactly this question, whether you have come across, incidents like these. We have people on record, in fact on camera, they have been caught saying that we sold it to various parties, 5 kgs of chemical that actually removes that ink.
And I mean, these people are on camera. They have got their establishment. They are running a business, and we have taken them on camera.
It's a business. It's a thriving business. Let me get in Mr. Kataria.